So this portion of the wall, we've already installed our rock wool insulation. We've cut the hole around the clips. This clip is, of course, you're showing the metal portion of the clip protruding through. The next stage from there is the thermal cap. That gets placed on top of that clip. That thermal cap is going to provide the thermal break between the metal to metal contact once we install the girt. So the girt installs outboard of this thermal cap, side fastened each side, and that'll break that thermal bridging from that direct contact of the metal girt to the metal clip. One of the things I want to highlight on this project that I've recognized on most builds is always a bit of a question asked of how do you close off the bottom edge of your wall with any of your exposed insulation. So we're going to fill this in here once we've done this flashing with our rock wool, and then we've just custom bent 1.5 inch flashing, 1.5 inch rock wool matching that, and we've actually sequenced this. So we've got our bug screen that went on first, outboard of the Tyvek, stapled on just like normal, and then we've placed this 1.5 inch 90 flashing to be able to capture that rock wool insulation. And if you look closely here, we've also placed another flashing behind that 90 just to span across our pour strip of our foundation. Now on this build, the pour strip, we were a bit low beyond where we wanted the cladding to come to. Going back maybe to that cantilever of the girt, bringing our cladding down, we looked at that as an option. We could have continued cantilevering, make sure that we don't exceed that 12 inch, maybe had to lower those clips a bit. That would have been fine. But kind of looking at the overall scope of the build, we just didn't want to add another row of cladding or portion of it, right? So we're happy with where we're at. And that was our solution there, was just to span that pour strip with that nice clean flashing. And then from there, we'll place our girts. So I'll just grab I'll grab a girt here and just kind of mimic it up here. Thermal cap, maybe I'll take the opportunity here to show the alignment of the thermal cap. We've got our flat edge aligned with the orientation that the girt wants to go, vertical in this case. If it was horizontal at a corner, or if we were doing vertical cladding, that just simply would have placed 90 degrees from there. So we've got our thermal caps on, girt will go in place. We would mechanically fasten this through the side of that thermal cap, connecting into the clip. And then if I look at the bottom of my wall, going back to the bug screen, and I would just lap that bug screen up onto the face of my girt, we're just going to temporarily tape it in place until we get our starter strip for our cladding on. So once we have the cladding starter on that girt, that's going to pinch that bug screen and prevent it from dropping out. So that'll provide us with a few things here. We've got the air gap with the bug screen, open area there, about 3/4 the thickness of the girt. And then we've got that 1.5 inch flashing that's going to cover over that rock wool. I thought with that rock wool, I just didn't want to have that exposed by final grade if we had any water splashing. I just want to limit the amount of moisture that we're allowing into that space. So I feel like that's a good solution, and it worked on this build. I think it'll work quite nicely on the majority of the builds out there.